So there's supposed to be some Twitter drama. I've seen a few people talking about it, and I just kind of want to see what's going on with it and see what's going on and give our take on it. So let's kind of see what's going on. I'm just really curious.
I've served over 10 years on Twitter.com, and I've come to realize that every single opinion ever has been had on that website.
That's true.
There is one thing, however, that unites all of Twitter together.
Okay.
And that's when somebody steals art. It's the highest treason imaginable in the lands of Twitter. Now,
I mean, there's a lot of groups on Twitter that just want to get mad as soon as they can get mad. Like,
fan of art theft myself. However, this is a bit of a controversy because it toes the line of art theft. It's a bit of drama. So let's talk about it. It started with a video uploaded by Corridor about a week ago.
Okay.
I'm just going to show you 10 seconds of this, and I want you to formulate your own opinions about this anime rock, paper, scissors.
2, 3, shoot!
Now, you might have a couple thoughts. 1, the sound design's pretty good. And 2, this anime looks a little weird.
I mean, it seems like most anime yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, it's got a little bit of a drawing style weird thing, but I mean, it follows like the exact same thing I would imagine anime overhyping a situation.
Ludwig, this looks weird. And you'd be right about that. It's a good thought you had. You'd be right because it's not actually animated. It's video and uses AI technology to create animation and do the rotoscoping work. The work of making the anime look like it's actually moving around. Here's actually a frame-by-frame of them taking a video and making it in anime using this AI tech.
Okay.
Scissors. It's thanks to all the support.
Boom,
from the members
boom,
at
boom,
CorridorDigital.com.
boom. Honestly, kind of interesting. The making of was a very insightful video, but it was called something a little bit pretentious. Did we just change animation forever? No, you didn't. But people did not take that title lightly.
I mean, they showed that there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, I don't know if they changed it forever themselves, but they're definitely highlighting what you can do.
And took to Twitter to, well, shit on this project. This was somebody kind of hyping it up. This is the future of IP. This anime is made using AI. Corridor Crew's a must-subscribe channel that shows the whole process. 18 million views. Less than 10K likes. Yeah, I can scroll this for days, and you'll find no shortage of insults for the people who made it. And it makes sense, because this did come off the heels of a little more controversy involving AI in anime, specifically with Netflix Japan. Now, there was an anime that came out, an anime short, called The Boy and the Dog. I'll show you just a few seconds of it.
Okay.
Cute story about a dog and a boy.
All right.
And all of the actual dog and boy in this is animated by a real animator.
Okay.
However, if we translate this, the entire background image of this 3-minute sequence is AI generated.
Okay.
And people weren't happy about that. They said they had to do it for labor shortages, but let's be real. Japanese animators are some of the most overworked people in...
I mean, like, Japan culture in general is all about overwork. So, I mean, everybody in Japan is overworked.
Underpaid people in any industry. There's literally a guy who died from a heart attack 3 years ago, stress-related, stress-induced, because of how overworked they are. So for then, I
mean, I remember a news story of like a businesswoman that like committed suicide. They have a term for committing suicide because of work.
Guy to turn around and then take all of the work so that the studio can make more money and also just take inspiration from the people who animated it.
Okay.
Right? People don't like AI taking over their jobs. I get that.
It reminds me of like when automation started taking over jobs for like factory work or stuff like that. I'm not siding on like AI taking over stuff being good, just kind of pointing it out. Do you know what I mean?
Now, this obviously was the context for why people on Twitter were so upset about the Corridor Digital video. And they didn't do themselves any favors because they said a lot of cringe stuff. Let's just watch.
It's part of our humanity to try to visualize things that don't exist. Like, let's talk about traditional 2D animation, cartoons.
Okay.
The most creatively liberated medium is also the least democratized. It takes incredibly skilled people drawing every single frame of your movie to make it happen. But I think we came up with a new way to animate, a way to turn reality into a cartoon. And it's one more step towards true creative freedom, where we can easily create anything we want.
Now, they talk about democratizing animation so that anyone can do it. and having creative freedom so anyone can make anything they want. There's only one problem. To do this project, they stole a lot. Now, they were open about this theft in the video. They said it several times, but they taught the AI how to do a specific style of animation so that every frame would be consistent in the animation by feeding it Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust frames.
Right. I mean, that's the point. I mean, it's an honest, legitimate, fair, valid criticism. Is that in order for the AI to create it, you have to feed it something. They fed it that particular anime, so it was styled like that anime. So yeah, I mean, it's a very valid complaint.
So they just jacked it, and you can very much see the resemblance. I mean, this obviously looks better because it's actually animated. But like the nose shape, the eyes, it all is kind of drawn from this.
Right.
I think there were some takes that were a little bit too reactionary, a bit too hot.
We keep feeding AI everything soon Skynet. I mean, yeah. I mean, even like using like ChatGTP or anything. I mean, all of these things, they have to learn from something. And I saw like an interesting story about how even AI is becoming biased. Because AI is biased based on the medium in which it learns from. I saw a thing where they were talking about how it was they were using AI to identify skin cancer in people, but the problem was all of the skin cancer anomalies they showed, because they're medical, right? They typically put like a ruler beside the mole or whatever it was to indicate the size of it. But then because of that, the AI software would take people that had normal looking skin, and if there was a ruler either near their skin or someplace in the background, it would identify them as having skin cancer, because that was just how the AI was taught, right?
Illegal AI lawsuits should be brought against Corridor, who stole art stills, animation, photographic cells to repurpose it and monetize it without consent or compensation to Madhouse Studios. And they go on to say that AI is a problem and it's stealing all of the work, and that they should be sued for this. Suing them, however, it seems like a bit of a slippery slope, because you could technically sue for use of any IP. Even something that everyone, I think, would wholly agree is valuable, amazing, cool, and human-made, like the SpongeBob anime, they could probably be sued for if they're making money off of it.
Well, I mean, in theory, right? Like, so this SpongeBob anime, right? Like, you're using concepts and thoughts that were created by somebody else. It's somebody else's IP. Whether you're changing it or not. Yeah, so in that theory, I mean, you'd be able to sue these people, right?
Right, because they're totally ripping the IP of SpongeBob.
Well, yeah, because they are taking the IP in that sense, right? Because, like, people are associating those characters, or you're using the association of those characters by itself to generate views, if for nothing else.
That is still held by SpongeBob. So suing, I don't know, but getting paid for their work, absolutely, I agree. And then there was this take. I keep thinking about AI dudes saying stuff like, it enables people to create what they couldn't create before. The Corridor video was shot in live action before they ran AI shit over it. You've literally been able to film a movie on phone for years. What's stopping you from creating before? You didn't want to learn how to be an animator. I get it. There's plenty of other ways to create stuff, dudes. Now, I get the hate towards AI.
All right.
I just have
I'm curious to see what he says here.
An intrinsic hate to it. I don't know why. I think I just appreciate things that are human-made a little bit more. It's kind of like when I realize something's handmade versus like factory-made. I'm just like, oh, hell yeah, I'd like to support my fellow human in their endeavor and working hard, as opposed to this machine that is trying to get more and more profits. And I do think Corridor had a major issue in the branding of everything. We're changing AI for
yeah, I mean, definitely the way they said things didn't help.
Animation forever. We are going to literally democratize through our video. That's all bullshit. If they just uploaded a video that was like, hey, we made this.
So I love to play devil's advocate, so I'm going to listen to what he says.
And we think it's cool, and this is how we made it, and maybe you could make it too. People probably wouldn't be as upset. And the reason I say that is because they're not even the first one to do this.
So what I think they were saying, not him, but what I think the other guys were saying when they said they could democratize it is, say you have an idea for like a really great anime or something you want to put out, right? And you can't do it, but you can make some costumes or whatever and do the acting, do it on a green screen, and then find your favorite style, One Piece or something, and have it just all drawn in that style. I think that's what they mean in democratizing. The problem is definitely going to be the fact that you have to use somebody else's work, right? you would either have to reach out and get somebody else's work, or you're just going to have to steal it and feed it. And I think that's where the gray area is coming in.
In fact, this type of animation has been the staple of Joel Haver for years. It'll be somewhat similar in terms of its AI glitchiness as the rock, paper, scissors, but I think a little more stylistic.
Your son is missing.
Surprised you hadn't seen the posters.
What posters?
Those ones?
Now, this is all AI-generated rotoscoping. And Joel goes into how this video is made on another video where he basically takes videos and takes like shots and animates one single frame.
Fluffy hat, and
Okay.
then I use that for my head shape. So you don't have to...
And then after making a single frame, has AI do all the work of rotoscoping.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
The exact tech he uses for that and the exact software that's all free.
Okay.
Allows him to animate with actually not doing all the work of animating every single frame like rotoscoping currently is done.
Okay.
And he has a very good message at the end that I feel like if this is what the Corridor guys said, people would have been on board. Let's just listen.
Love it. It's such a great tool. It lets me create rotoscoped animations alone, which is something I never would have had the time or patience for otherwise. And, for that reason, there are some skeptics in the comments like, oh, is it really rotoscoping? It's like, yeah, it's like AI-assisted rotoscoping. It's like a cheat code,
Right.
All technology is a cheat code. Anytime technology makes art easier to learn, more accessible, more efficient, we should applaud it because, art should be in the hands of everyone, and we shouldn't have to break our backs and our wallets and waste our lives to make it. We should be able to feel good while making art. And
So I do have to agree that that was a way better way to like convey the message. And if that exact message would have been played over the previous video, I think you would have got way less hate out of it.
And a lot more humility in that message than the Corridor guys who, at the end of the day, did take all of the inspiration and the learning from Vampire Bloodlust and said, we changed anime forever. Joel does have his own style and does his own drawings, but still uses AI. I don't think AI itself is inherently bad and evil in this sense, where I think a lot of people are like, AI bros are all cringe. Is Joel an AI bro? Did the Corridor guys just give themselves maybe too many pats on the back? Did they want to because they worked on it really hard for a long time? The answer to all of those is probably yeah or no. I forget the questions.
All right. So I don't know. After watching that, I can see where a lot of the arguments and the drama came from. And I do think most of it was just in the messaging. I do think that they did kind of change some things and they kind of showed how easy it's going to be and the way things are going to go moving forward. And you can hate on them as individuals for what they did. But what's going to happen and what was already shown in the video is companies are already doing this. So companies are already going to embrace this. Companies are going to take this. They're going to hire an animator. They're going to have them draw a couple frames, a couple stills. They're going to find an art style they like. And then they're going to get rid of a lot of people and just have AI kind of do it. So when the other guys said they revolutionized it, they didn't. I mean, other people are already doing it. And while I might not like it, you might not like it, people might not like it, as soon as business and industry finds out that there's a shortcut path and they can do that and make more money, like they're going to do it, it'll become industry standard and there's nothing you can do about it. So I definitely think it was a good thing to bring up and talk about, but like having a bunch of Twitter drama around it, it's just Twitter. Like Twitter just explodes with drama no matter what. Like if people can bitch, they're going to bitch. And whether it's a fair or valid point, just kind of goes by the wayside and then people's emotions run hot, and that's kind of what happens on Twitter. So that's my take on it. You guys just have to let me know what you think. Let me know down in the comments, and we can always talk about it there.